Is Shedeur Sanders not being selected in the first round being over exaggerated? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again to talk about the NFL draft first round and Shedeur Sanders not being selected. Last night, as I'm watching the NFL draft, and then I see here pick after pick after pick, and Shedeur Sanders' name is not being called, I was like, man, they doing him wrong. Shedeur Sanders got snubbed. That's what I was thinking last night. But I don't think that way anymore. Now that I looked at the numbers and the way the NFL draft first round played out. If you look at the numbers and how teams, was selecting these players, a lot of them was on the defensive side of the ball. And a lot of them was in the trenches, offensive linemen and defensive linemen. So if you look at it, you had 15 defensive players selected. 5 defensive linemen, 4 edge rushers, 4 defensive backs, and 2 linebackers. So a lot of these teams was going on the defensive side of the ball. Well, addressing their needs on the defensive side of the ball. And on the offensive side of the ball, they was mostly going to the offensive linemen. You had 8 offensive linemen selected last night. That's 23 guys. Okay? So ain't but 9 positions left as far as the skill positions. And 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks. Okay? So these teams, as usual, every year, they address what they need most in the first round. So a lot of teams, they needed defensive players. All right? Especially defensive linemen, edge rushers, and defensive backs. Okay, on offense, the teams needed offensive linemen. That's why 8 went. Okay, if you look at last year's draft, this draft was nothing like last year's draft as far as quarterbacks, because last year, how many quarterbacks were selected? 1, 2, 3, I think 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks were selected in last year's draft. Caleb Williams, first overall pick. Jaden Daniels, second overall pick. Drake May, third overall pick. Michael Penix, 8th overall pick. J.J. McCarthy with the 10th overall pick. All in the first round. This draft was nothing like that. And then you go back to the 2023 draft. I think you only had, 3 quarterbacks? Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud went 1 and 2. And then you had Anthony Richardson to go number 4. Those were the only quarterbacks in the first round in 2023. And then in 2022, you only had 1 quarterback selected in the first round, and that was Kenny Pickett at number 20. So each draft is different, all right? But on the flip side, do I think Shedeur Sanders should have been selected before Jackson Dart? Yes, I do. Now, I do think he should have been selected before Jackson Dart. But it didn't play out that way. The team that selected Jackson Dart saw more of an upside in him than they did with Shedeur Sanders. How? I don't know. Because if you put Shedeur Sanders with Ole Miss and you put Jackson Dart with Colorado, you will see the difference. Because ain't no way in hell Jackson Dart could have put up the numbers that he put up behind Colorado's O-line. And I think Shedeur probably would have put up more numbers behind Ole Miss's O-line. That's just my opinion. But hey, it is what it is, man. Ain't no way Jackson Dart is a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion. All right? I think Jackson Dart threw 145 more yards than Shedeur Sanders with 8 less touchdowns. And you saw what Shedeur Sanders did behind the offensive line he had. Terrible. Colorado had no remnants of a running game at all. None. Null and void. So what that tell you? The defense that Shedeur was facing, all they had to do was worry about stopping the pass. And for the most part, they couldn't do that. That's why he threw for over 4,000 yards and I think he had 37 touchdowns. Come on, man. I think he threw for 4,100 and some odd yards, and Jackson Dart threw for 4,200 and some odd yards and 8 less touchdowns. So you can't sit here and tell me that Shedeur Sanders is not a better quarterback than Jackson Dart. You just can't tell me that. And also, Cam Ward, the #1 overall pick, his numbers wasn't too much better than Shedeur Sanders. He only had 100 and something more yards passing than Shedeur Sanders with 2 more touchdowns. That's it. And as a matter of fact, Shedeur Sanders had an overall better completion rate than all of them. Shedeur Sanders had what, a 74% completion rate while everybody else was in their 60s? Come on now. But teams, they just wasn't going after quarterbacks in this year's draft. As I said, they gonna address their biggest need first. Now I have no doubt that Shedeur Sanders will be selected today. Where? I don't know. All right, or what pick or whatever. Steelers say they want him. Shit, they also said they wanted Jalen Milroe. So Steelers, Saints, some teams out there just don't need a quarterback. They good with quarterback, like my Commanders, like the Eagles. The Chiefs is good with their quarterback. The Falcons is good at quarterback. So it's teams out there that just don't need quarterbacks. All right. So I don't think it's an overreaction. Well, I do think it's an overreaction that Shedeur Sanders didn't get selected in the first round, because a lot of teams out there just don't need a quarterback. And the teams that do, that wasn't their first need. Okay, now, the worst teams are always going to get a quarterback with the first, second, third pick or whatever. They're the worst teams. They are always going to need a quarterback. But sometimes the worst teams don't need a quarterback. That's not their first priority. But hey, Shedeur Sanders, he will be an NFL quarterback. And I feel Shedeur Sanders, he can get selected and be a starter his rookie season. That's what I think. He's just that good. Do I think Jackson Dart can be a starter in his rookie season? Hell no, I do not. No way, no how. But I think Shedeur can. But we'll see about that. And I'm going to go on record. I could be wrong. I'm going to say Shedeur will have a better career than Jackson Dart. But also that depends on what team they go to and what system they play in. So, but I think it is an overreaction that Shedeur Sanders didn't get selected in the first round. But the thing about it, you got guys out here on ESPN like Dan Orlovsky trying to critique Shedeur Sanders. The same Dan Orlovsky that ran out of bounds on 4th down. Well, ran out the back of the end zone on 4th down to give a team a safety. And that was while he was in the NFL. So I don't think he have room to talk shit about Shedeur Sanders, saying that he seen a guy that took too many sacks and shit like that. Well, look at the offensive line he was playing behind. Come on, man. Inconsistent. Come on now. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. It's crazy, man. Then you got these guys who want to remain anonymous They don't want to put their name out there, but they want to talk shit about his interview, and the shit they saying really had nothing to do with the damn interview. Basically, they were saying they felt he was arrogant, full of himself, unprofessional. When have you seen Shedeur Sanders be unprofessional? You trying to tell me, if you think this is unprofessional, that him playing football in his jewelry, wearing his jewelry, showing his watches, that's unprofessional? Come on, man. They critiquing these guys, not for what they doing on the field, but their demeanor. They even brought up Shedeur Sanders' demeanor. If you in an interview, you ain't even been around him long enough to know his demeanor. Come on now. But as I said, I have never seen Shedeur Sanders, while talking to the media, be unprofessional. And I'm sure he's not unprofessional in front of coaches. I'm sure of that. Especially when you're trying to get with a team. Unless you just don't want to be with that team. And guess what? If you're unprofessional in that interview, it's going to trickle down to other teams, because these scouts and the interviewers, they talk to each other. Come on now. You can't tell me this man was unprofessional in an interview. And you can't tell me just by being in an interview and being around somebody for a couple of days, you know they demeanor. Come on, man. And you want to say he's full of himself. No, the guy, or he's arrogant. No, the guy exudes confidence. That's all it is. He's exuding confidence. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, then you ain't going to be able to perform. And if you don't have confidence in yourself, then who else going to have confidence in you? Come on now. Because if you don't have confidence, you're always going to be doubting yourself. So to knock the guy for that is simply crazy. Because not one time when Baker Mayfield was playing for Oklahoma, and it was his time to get selected, did anybody say he's arrogant, he's full of himself, when all the antics that he was doing while he was at Oklahoma? Same for daggone Johnny Manziel when he was at Texas A&M. Nobody said he was arrogant while he tried to get selected in the NFL draft. And both of those guys went first round, I might add. I think they might have been the first overall. I don't know. But I know damn well they weren't saying that about Baker Mayfield or Johnny Manziel when both of those guys, both of them, was arrogant. Or should I say they were just confident in themselves. But being confident, as far as Baker Mayfield, don't mean you grabbing your crotch, aiming at the other sideline. Come on now. Nobody want to bring that up. Nobody want to bring up the fact that Baker Mayfield planting a damn flag in the middle of the damn field of his opponent. Nobody want to bring that up. But let Shedeur Sanders do those things. You want to count it against him. He ain't even do it, and you still count it against him. Come on now. And I know y'all remember Baker Mayfield. Always want to point up at the goddamn at the clock and shit like that. Talking shit to the opponents while he walking off the field. Was that arrogant? Was he full of himself then? So let me know what Shedeur Sanders did to make you think that he's full of himself or he's arrogant. He's exuding confidence. That's what he's doing. Just like his dad did. And he was getting criticized. Shedeur Sanders is being punished because he's Deion's kid. That's what he's doing. But as far as the draft, I understand why he didn't get selected in the first round. But I can't understand all of the criticism. I just can't understand that. Because you got other quarterbacks, good damn quarterbacks, that's going to be selected today. Good damn quarterbacks. Who are you? You had Cam Ward and Jackson Dart selected last night. You still got Jalen Milroe out there. A couple of more quarterbacks. But anyway, Jalen Milroe, who else? You got Quinn Ewers out there. I don't know if he'll get selected today. But you got Quinn Ewers. Damn, I can't. Man, I got a brain for it. Yeah, Will Howard. Will Howard should be selected today. Jalen Milroe should be. Those two guys should be selected today, along with Shedeur Sanders. Now, Quinn Ewers, I don't know about. Maybe, maybe not, but I doubt it. But Jalen Milroe, Will Howard, and Shedeur Sanders should be selected in the second round, and I think they will. But if Shedeur Sanders don't get selected today, then it will be a travesty. Then, man, it'll be an uproar, and I'll be part of it. But anyway, let me know what y'all think, man, about Shedeur Sanders not being selected in the first round, man. Is it an overreaction of the media and the fans? I think so. Is he being unfairly criticized? I think so. But I don't think he was snubbed out of a first round pick. I did last night, but not anymore, considering how the draft went with all the defensive guys that was taken in the first round. And then you had those offensive linemen taken, like I say, only 9 skill guys got selected. Okay, skill position guys, for as quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. So, and then you had 2 tight ends taken also. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But congratulations to everybody who got picked in the first round. So they had their dream fulfilled last night. But anyway, y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, and roll damn Tide.